Hello and welcome back to the second part of this session. In first part, we were talking about entrepreneurial ecosystem in general. In second part, we are going to talk about campus entrepreneurial ecosystem. In this particular session, I am going to talk about what type of entrepreneurial ecosystem we have in our college, in my particular college, Shahid Sukhdev College of Business Studies, and how we run and manage our e-cell, and how we are managing our incubation center. And at the later part of this session, I'm going to talk about National Startup and Innovation Policy 2019 for students and faculty. So uh, let's start with entrepreneurial ecosystem in campus. As we have seen in previous lecture, we talked about entrepreneurship or ecosystem. Entrepreneurial ecosystem is a platform where various actors and factors they interact and create a favorable or sometimes maybe uh, a non-favorable environment for startups. So who are the actors and factors in campus ecosystem? If we talk about factors, policies plays a very important role. The policy may be at entire national level policies, and maybe the state level policies, or campus related policies. What type of policies there in within the campus they are going to affect. Then comes infrastructure. What type of infrastructure we have in that particular campus, that also going to affect. Then next very important thing, that is curriculum. What type of subjects we have. It is a technology based technological courses we are offering, or we have some science related stream related courses, or courses from humanity background. Another important aspect, that is culture. What is the culture of that particular organization? What type of culture we are providing to students, faculty, and staff in campus? That also plays very important role. Then come processes and procedures. What are the various processes and procedure in campus we have? These are the factors. And then comes who are the actor in a campus ecosystem. Administration, no doubt, because each and every activity that need to route through administration. So how supportive, how innovative, how open-heartedly supporting administration we have, that plays a very important role. Students, the big center of this ecosystem, they are the key players. Then faculty, staff, alumnus of our institution, and external experts, those are invited throughout the year for various interaction with the faculty, staff, and students. Here I'm going to talk about that primary unit we have dedicated for entrepreneurship related activities in any institution, that is E-Cell or ED Cell, we call it, Entrepreneurship Development Cell. E-Cell is a group of dynamic students who seek to provide a platform to entrepreneurial students to convert their idea into reality. The entrepreneurship cell aims to ignite creative thinking and nurture entrepreneurial instinct in students. The cell hopes to achieve this by conducting various workshops, activities, competition, and interactive session by inviting various personalities and experts from the industry who are the role model for these young entrepreneurs. So here I want to share about E-Cell in our college. It was started in 2009, where some entrepreneurial students, they thought of having a group of students, a student body or society we can call it, those who are dedicatedly want to work on entrepreneurship. And believe me, the results were amazing. If you heard about one of our alumnus and his founder member of this E-Cell, Balasarda. His venture name is Badham Tea. Badham Tea and Balasarda, why I am mentioning him? Because he was featured in Forbes 30 under 30. He was featured in Entrepreneur 35 under 35. He was also featured in Business World 40 under 40. So you can see his achievement. Now, Badam Tea is an international brand and international startup we can see. And there are other many startups and many students, those who have converted their idea into business. And this e-cell plays a very important role, or a linkage between students, those who want to pursue their idea, and those who want to convert their idea into business, and our incubation center within the campus. This cell plays a very what we can say connecting role. This cell connects those students, those who want to become an entrepreneur, those who want to start their venture, with incubation center we have in our college. Then what is incubation center? The term incubator or incubation center, it is used interchangeably many times. And the term take off from the biological incubator, where we hatch this egg to chicken sort of. We provide that conducive protective environment where suitable for converting these ideas into business. A business or startup incubator is a program managed and by corporations, educational institutions, or government agencies that provide an environment for startup to develop by providing services such as management training, office space, and all sort of hand-holding and mentoring for all these budding entrepreneurs, so that whenever they feel they need expert advice, they need help from any expert, so these incubation center, it comes in role. And incubation center also provide seed money to start their business. So here I'm going to discuss the case or example of SSCBS Innovation and Incubation Foundation. It is a Section 8 company promoted by Shaheed Sukhdev College of Business Studies, University of Delhi, to promote entrepreneurship by identifying and supporting innovative ideas, provide mentorship and industry networking, provide incubation infrastructure, workspace, computing resources, connectivity, common tools and office and library, and provide seed funding also. So far we have funded around 8 or 9 startups with the maximum of 1 or 2 startup, they got 20 lakh rupees, and maximum of them 7.5 lakh rupees for starting their business. This money is disbursed to them in tranches. In first tranche, we give them some money to start their to establish their company, register their company, start their initial business, and we evaluate them in a regular phases. So, and we release that second, third tranche for the sanctioned money to that particular startup. SSCBS is DST recognized incubation center. We got this certificate in 2018. And yes, we have also got this exemption certificate under ATG and 12A from Income Tax Department. Now it comes the process, incubation engagement process. How one can get into the incubation center, and how they can engage with, and how they get graduated, and how this entire process of incubation get closed. So this entire activity is divided into 5 parts. First phase is pre-incubation engagement. Second phase is evaluation of proposal, and in third phase it is kickstart and getting them into board. Fourth phase is, which is last for 2 years period, where we provide them all sort of mentoring, hand-holding, and everything they require, and finally closure. Let's have a look on these each step one by one. Very first step, pre-incubation. We invite application from the startups. People may apply through email, or walk-in is also possible. People, those who can come to our incubation center, they interact with our CEO or the person available there, share their idea, and we share with them whatever formalities are required. We give them proper inputs, so that every startup idea, initially they come with their rough idea, and we help them to craft that into something like presentable. We give them we plan a template where we are asking certain information, and these startups provide all this information as per the requirement. And finally, these applicants submit their proposal, a detailed idea for evaluation. Then initial evaluation panel evaluate these applications are accepted or rejected. And accepted application move on to the second phase, where we are going to where these startups are going to face a funding committee, where it is decided how much fund it need to be invested and provided to them as initial investment. And if we are rejecting any application, we give them proper suggestions, feedback, and reason for rejection. Many a time, you know, these startups, they come with one idea, and over the period of time, this initial pre-incubation phase, the idea is entirely changed into another idea or another industry or another sort of startups. Then comes second phase, where the startups or ideas selected in first phase, they are coming for the second phase, business, which we call them the pitching for business proposal, investment committee, evaluation session. They come, they pitch their idea, they share their idea for those industry experts, faculty, and persons from particular industry that idea belong to. So those ideas may be accepted or rejected. If rejected, again here with some valuable feedbacks, and if accepted, then they need to fulfill some more formalities before getting into vote. Then after selection, they meet, they come to, they get informed within the week with the certain requirement of the incubation center. They come with, they meet the CEO or the person available there. They share their documents or whatever required. So necessary correction, if suggested by this panel, they are informed about, then those necessary corrections are necessary corrections are done with that particular project. And presentation, finally, that approval for kickstart, you know, okay, we can go with this. If we approve them after correction of those required information, we may induct them as a startup or as an incubator, or we may reject if they are not able to fulfill those information or those documents or formalities, and they may get back to the same procedure for again. Then third phase is kickstart, where these selected incubators, where these selected startups, they get into some sort of agreement. They need to get into agreement. They need to form their company. If the company is not already formed, we provide them all sort of hand-holding for the process of forming a company. And finally, we get them some agreement with them. And this incubation may be with funding or without funding. There are certain incubators or startups, those who are not looking for funding, they just need hand-holding or space. We are open for them as well. We will have some with certain terms and conditions, some agreement, and we provide them service agreement. And there are other incubators, those you know, those where we are funding also, where we are providing that initial funding also, that may be 7.5 lakh, 10 lakh, whatever the amount decided by the panel, and that against the equity. Thumb rule is 1% for 1 lakh. If we are providing them 7.5 lakh, so we are taking 7.5% of equity. 10 lakh, 10% of equity. That is negotiable. That is negotiable. Some startup, you know, they don't want to share their equity at the same percentage what I've said, 10% or 7.5%. So it is negotiable, and that negotiation may be land into the incubation final agreement, or that may be a closure of that agreement. So some startups, they don't want to share this much amount of equity, so they cancel this agreement. And the next phase is when once that everything is done, all the formalities are done, these startups are finally treated as incubator. They are allotted a space, office space, and they are entitled to use all the facilities, and they can use all the facilities available with our incubation center. So this entire process of incubation that is in our incubation center, we have decided to incubate each startup for max 2 years, and we may extend this phase for one year, maybe in 6 months and 6 months as a special case. So then comes closure, graduation we can call it. So this closure or graduation may be positive or negative. In positive graduation, if a startup, those that enter into agreement, that startup has completed that initial period of 2 years, and this they have graduated successfully. That venture has matured into a business. It is quite possible that during that period or before completion of that 2 years, a business maybe get external funding, of they may exit, they may exit, they may refund our equity as per the new valuation, and they may exit, and buyback by the promoters, or if promoter feel that they want to buy back their equity, that equity they have shared with us, they want to buy back, and as per the new valuation they can buy it back. And then acquisition and merger, sometimes it is quite possible that these startups are merged with some larger and acquired by some larger organization. That is also a successful graduation. There are negative graduations or negative closure also, lack of commitment or poor performance despite of input from the incubation center. It is many a time it happened that, okay, initially those students were very much energetic and enthusiastic toward their startup, but over the period of time, in these 2 years, students get placed into a very good company. They want to pursue, they want to secure their future. They are not very much sure that their startup is going to work. This happened with us. One of the startup, it was doing great, but both the founder, they got a very good placement with a very high salary package, and they have deferred or sort of put this into back end their startup. This is quite possible. And another negative, that is conflict among the promoters. This also we have experienced. Initially these friends, those who are into a business venture, due to any reason there is some conflict among them. That is another reason of a negative closure. Then substantial change in the idea. That project was started with some idea, and in between that is landed into some different thing. That is another issue we have faced. Change in team or violation of rules of that particular incubation center. This is maybe misconduct or fraud. These are certain things due to which the incubation, this agreement comes into end. Now, another important aspect of campus entrepreneurial ecosystem, that is policy. This time I am going to talk about National Innovation and Startup Policy 2019 for students and faculty. And this was launched in 2019. This document is a very comprehensive document or guideline to run or to manage, to create a favorable entrepreneurial ecosystem in your campus. So so far we have discussed eCell. If your organization have a eCell, make it active, involve yourself more into this, help these students to organize these events. I'm sure you all are doing this. And if you don't have a eCell in your organization, this is a primary step to create an entrepreneurial ecosystem in campus. Please start some such eCell in your campus. It is very easy. There is no legal formalities or anything. Just you need to get approval from your respective organization and apply. If you are see why I am saying this, if we got this grant of 2 crore rupees from Delhi government, the performance of our eCell was the main reason. We got this investment in 2017 only, this grant of 2 crore rupees in 2017. But for last 10 years, we were doing, our eCell was doing exceptionally well. That's why we are one of the undergraduate college where other institutions are universities, those who are funded by the Delhi government, and our was the main, the first undergraduate college to get this funding of 2 crore rupees to start an incubation center. So eCell plays a very important role. My request is, if you have a eCell, activate it, be in touch with, help these students to grow. If you don't have, start one. Then incubation center, you can apply for incubation center. There are number of agencies, those who want to, help to establish in incubation center in educational institutions, provided you have space and infrastructure available with you. Now I'm going to talk about this National Innovation and Startup Policy 2019. As I said, it is a roadmap, it is a guideline, it is a sort of what we can say guidance to make a favorable entrepreneurial ecosystem within your campus. So let's start with this policy. What is it all about? The vision of this policy is, as we all know, that India is aspired to become a $5 trillion economy by 2024. And to achieve this goal, or to this achievement, we need to convert this demographic dividend, what we have, this young India, into a high quality technical human resource capable of doing anything, capable of doing research, innovation, and deep tech entrepreneurship. This is the vision of this policy. National Innovation and Startup Policy 2019 for higher education institution is a guiding framework. As I said, it is a sort of guiding document for starting or making a favorable entrepreneurial ecosystem within your higher education institution. In order to achieve the cultural and attitudinal shift in student and faculty, to ensure that innovation and startup culture is the primary fulcrum of higher education institution system, this policy work as a guideline for this. These guidelines will enable institutions to achieve support for, support their faculty, staff, students to participate in innovation and entrepreneurship related activities. There are certain 8, 9, somewhere around 10 headings. Let's discuss one by one. In strategy and governance heading, it is talking about entrepreneurship promotion and development should be one of the major dimensions of higher education institution strategy. The entrepreneurial agenda should be the responsibility of a senior at the level of dean, director, and equivalent position to being being in requirement. Why? Because it requires commitment. It requires a well understood vision, so that these higher authorities will, if the higher authority have that vision, they can help the entire system to grow. Resource mobilization plan should be worked out at the institution for supporting pre-incubation, incubation, infrastructure, and facilities. A sustainable financial strategy should be defined in order to reduce the organizational constraint to work on the entrepreneurial agenda. That means this, the entire policy for entrepreneurial ecosystem in campus, this should be have certain component to make it self-sustainable. For expediting the decision making, hierarchical barriers should be minimized. Which, as we know that in a government institution, there is the certain steps and procedure which we need to follow. Policy talk about cutting down or cutting short this entire procedure barrier. Then importance of innovation and entrepreneurial agenda should be known across the institution, should be promoted and highlighted in the institutional programs such as conference, convocations, workshop, etc. Student and faculty startup policy and action plans should be formulated at university level, at institutional level, which is in the line with the current document along with the well-defined short-term and long-term goals. While we are discussing this policy and this guidelines, we should make it clear what are our short-term and long-term goals for having such type of policies in our campus. Then comes startup enabling institutional infrastructure. Creation of pre-incubation and incubation facility for nurturing innovation and startup in higher education institutions should be undertaken. Incubation and innovation need to be originally interlinked. All higher education institutions are advised to create facility within their institution for supporting pre-incubation and incubation and acceleration by mobilizing resources from internal and external resources. Then this pre-incubation and incubation facility should be accessible 24/7 to students, staff, and faculty for all disciplines. If I talk about our own incubation center, we are planning to make it 24/7, yet we don't have that volume of work. So it is as our college is 5-day week, so this incubation center is 6 days week. In future, we are going to make it 24/7 sort of. There are institutions within Delhi, if I'm talking about DTU, incubation center in DTU, it is 24/7. They work for 24/7. So this policy also suggests these. See, the student who is a student also, they are studying their normal course in those working days. They need extra time and space for those weekends or in the late hours of day. So these incubation centers or these facilities should be open for 24/7 for these students and faculties. Pre-incubation facilities may or may not be separately registered. See, these incubation center or any sort of entities, this may be registered as a different name or different entity, or maybe working with the same identity of as that parent or host institution. But this policy suggests these incubation center or these sort of helping bodies, they should go for a separate entity under Section 8 company under Company Act 2013, as our incubation center is also registered as under Section 8 company. Higher education institution may offer mentoring and other relevant services through pre-incubation incubation units in return of fee, equity sharing, or zero payment. Yes, this is also done with our incubation center. Those startups or ideas where we have invested some money, also we are charging some equity against that capital we have invested. There are certain incubatees, those who are not seeking or asking for money, they are just need services, space, and guidelines or mentorship. We are charging them a fee. We are not taking any equity in them. And there are certain startups also, those who are at very at initial stage. So we are providing these, mentoring them at free of cost on zero payment basis. Then nurturing innovation and startup. Higher education institutions are expected to establish processes and mechanisms for easy creation and nurturing the startups and enterprises for students, staff, faculty, alumni. And yes, it is very important, incubation centers are not restricted to only to students, staff, and alumnus or faculty. It is open for outsider also. As in our incubation center, we are inviting applications from anywhere in the country. Anyone who has having any idea, they can come and share their idea. If that idea match with our expectation, we are going to fund him. We are going to invest in that particular idea, and we are going to make that as incubating and help them into graduating and transforming their idea into business. Students who are under incubation center but are pursuing some entrepreneurial venture while studying should be allowed to use their address in the institution to register their company. Yes, all the incubators, we allow all the incubators to use institution address as their company address. They are free to use with permission of institution. Then another important thing, student entrepreneurs should be allowed to sit an examination if their attendance is less than the minimum required percentage. This is very much debatable topic, where a lot of debate is happening in all the staff association and staff council meeting. Why should these students give some privilege? See, if we want these students to become an entrepreneur, we need to give them some freedom. If we want to keep them all the time in the classes, when they will go for market, when they will go for market research, when they will go for all sort of entrepreneurial activities, we need to give them. So we can make a provision in our policy. Students, those who are involved in entrepreneurial activities, they should be allowed to sit in examination if they are not able to fulfill that minimum attendance criteria. Higher education institutions should be allowed their students to take a semester or year break to work on their startup, and they can join their academics later on. Now, there are many institutions, they provide this facility to the students. In many institutions, they provide the deferred placement facility also. Okay, if this time you are working with your startup, okay, you want to sit in placement, no doubt, no problem. If you failed in your venture, you have tried your venture for 2 years. If you fail, you want to sit in placement, institution allow them to sit in placement process even after 2 years of their degree. So institute should set up a review committee for review all startup by the student student, and based on the progress, it may be considered giving appropriate credit for academics. The institution should explore provision for accommodation to the entrepreneurs within the campus for some period. I'm going to talk about this. Consider give appropriate credit. You know, there are certain requirements like internship, compulsory internship. In my college, there is a compulsory internship for second year students. They are supposed to submit a summer internship report. They are supposed to go for summer internship for 2 months. So we have this policy. If a student who is doing some startup, he is to be considered as equivalent to their internship. So you can, in your institution, you can go for this type of policy. This policy is also suggesting the same thing. All the faculty and staff to take off for the semester or year. Faculty or staff, those who are into the startup, they are also be allowed to take a semester of maybe a sabbatical or earned leave or unpaid leave or any type of leave if they want. Then institutions should consider allowing the use of resources to faculty, students, staff wishing to establish startup as the full-time efforts. The seniority and other academic benefits should be secured. Startup part-time or full-time MS or MBA, PG, DM program where one can get degree while inducting and nurturing a startup. This should be done. AICTE has already approved this sort of program, this type of program. Sorry. Institute will facilitate the startup activities, technology development by allowing student and faculty and staff to use institutional infrastructure and facility as per the choice of these potential entrepreneurs. The institution should also provide service based on mixture of equity fee, as we have discussed earlier. As per the requirement of, as per the situation, they can decide about whether they are going to charge against equity, fee, or maybe zero payment. Then participation in startup and related activity need to be considered as a legitimate activity of faculty, as per their additional to their teaching workload. Every faculty must encourage to mentor at least one startup. This should be the practice to encourage or to make a culture, entrepreneurial culture in your institution. Product development and commercialization, as well as participating and nurturing the startup, would be adding a new bucket of faculty duties, and each faculty would choose a mix of match of these activities. Then product ownership and technology development at institute. When institute facilities or funds are used substantially, that IPR or ownership of that particular product is jointly owned by institution and the startup or the inventor. On the other hand, when no these such of facilities of institutions are used by, in that case, entire ownership belongs to the inventor himself. If there is any dispute in ownership, there should be a committee of 5 members in which 2 faculty, those who have a sufficient expertise in IPR and such activities, 2 alumnus or industry expert having the same technology or commercializing expertise, 1 legal advisor. One committee should be constituted, or 5-member committee should be constituted to resolve such type of dispute for benefit of all the parties. The institute IPR cell or innovation cell will be the only coordinator and facilitator in such services. They don't have any say on that, how this invention is done and how, they are only the facilitator. All the institutions decision-making body with respect to incubation, IPR or technology licensing will consist of faculty experts who have excelled in technology and translation. Other faculty in department institution will have no say. Those who have done something in that particular area, they should be included in decision making related to this. Interdisciplinary research and publication on startup and entrepreneur should be promoted by the institution. Then organizational capacity, human resource, and incentive. It is another important aspect. Institution should recruit staff that have a strong innovation and entrepreneurial industrial experience, behavior, or attitude. This will help in fostering innovation and entrepreneurial culture within organization or institution. Faculty and department of the institution have to work in coherence with the departmental interlinkage. Then periodically some external subject expert such as guest lecture or alumnus or some successful entrepreneurs or some failed entrepreneurs, those who have failed in entrepreneurs and finally they succeed, they should invited for sharing their idea. Faculty and staff should be encouraged to do course and on innovation, and they should be encouraged to participate in different programs where they can enhance their ability. In this context, I must highlight here or share here, I am lucky enough that I got the opportunity to participate in 3 12 days faculty development program on entrepreneurship, incubation center, and how to teach entrepreneurship. I have attended first 12 days FDP in Bangalore, that is organized by EDI Bangalore and EDI Ahmedabad jointly. So this was a 12 days program. I, along with my one other faculty, we were there for 12 days. It was fully sponsored by the institution. And in 2018, I got opportunity to take part in 12 days faculty program at EDI Ahmedabad. It was related to how to teach entrepreneurship. This was again fully sponsored. Then in 2019 September, again I got an opportunity to take part in FDP in Ahmedabad, EDI Ahmedabad only. This was also sponsored by the institution. All the institutions, they are requested or supposed to, they are guided to promote this culture, promote this entrepreneurial culture by encouraging faculties to take part in such events. In order to attract and retain people, institutions should develop an academic and non-academic incentive and reward mechanism for staff and stakeholders. That activity contributes to support entrepreneurship agenda and activities. There should be proper recognition mechanism. Creating innovation pipeline and pathway for entrepreneur at institutional level. To ensure exposure to maximum student to innovation and incubation activities at their early stage, and support the pathway from ideation to innovation to market. The institution should establish Institutional Innovation Council as per the guideline of MHRD. And yes, the institution should allocate appropriate budget for these activities. For strengthening the innovation funnel of institution, access to financing must be open for potential entrepreneurs. Institute must develop a ready reckoner of innovation toolkit, which must be kept at the institution's website, so that anyone can access that, and if they have any queries, they can approach to the appropriate authority for clearance of those doubts. Then this policy talk about certain norms for faculty startups. The role of faculty may vary in particular startup from owner or direct promoters, mentor, a consultant, or on-board member. One can be in that particular startup in any capacity. The institution should work on developing a policy of conflict of interest. See, when an employee, when a staff, when a faculty who is working in an institution, host institution, and also doing a startup also, it is quite natural that at some time there must be some conflict of interest. There should be a policy related to, a clear-cut policy related to this. Faculty startup may consist of faculty member alone, or with the student, or with his faculty from other institution or alumnus. So it is quite acceptable if they work with anyone. In case of faculty staff hold an executive or managerial position for more than 3 months, so in any startup, in his or her startup, they will go on sabbatical leave or leave without pay for utilizing, or they may utilize their existing leaves. Then faculty must clearly separate and distinguish ongoing research at institutional level and at their startup level. So they should not mix that. They should keep this separately. In case of selection of a faculty startup by an outsider national or international accelerator, a maximum leave of 1 semester or leave may be granted to that particular individual or faculty. Faculty must not accept any type of gift from the startups. Then here comes the very important thing, that this is pedagogy and learning intervention for entrepreneurship development. Diversified approach should be adopted to produce desirable learning outcomes, which should include, cross disciplinary learning, use of mentors, labs, case study method, field visit, games, simulation activities, simulation exercise, instead of purely lecture method. Student clubs, as I said, ECell and other student bodies. Nowadays, there are other, Rotax clubs or Enactus. This type of activity, they promote a social entrepreneurs. This type of activity should be promoted in your institutions. Then institutions should start annual innovation and entrepreneurship award for recognizing effort of these entrepreneurs, these students or these faculties. This will help in creating environment and motivating other to take part in such activities. In our institution, we every year give entrepreneur of the year award to the student who is into entrepreneurship activity. In the beginning of every academic session, institution should conduct an induction program about importance of innovation and entrepreneurship activities. Here I suggest, we have started this practice in our institution. With the help of this ECell and faculty, we conduct entrepreneurial tendency test, general entrepreneurial tendency test. It is a half an hour test which assess certain based on the certain statement, which guide one where he is lacking in his or her entrepreneurial mindset. If we reversely work on those questions, we can improve the entrepreneurial what we can mindset or entrepreneurial attitude of these students. So this sort of activities can be introduced at the first semester of the students, so that they can get insight about what they are supposed to do, and they will get to know that, okay, there is a certain facilities in the institution. If any one of them are carrying their idea in their mind, they may come forward and share this idea with appropriate authorities, and this idea can be converted into a successful business. Industry linkage is very much required. Industry linkage is very much required. So you may take these students for field visit, industrial visit, plant visit, or you may ask industry expert to visit your space. Nowadays, during this COVID period, we have seen that lot of online session webinars are happening. We should utilize this. Even after the next normal, we are moving, looking forward. So we can have a best of the resources from anywhere of the world online. They can interact with, they can share their idea, they can share their success story, they can share their failure stories with these students. That will help in making these students better entrepreneurs. Then collaboration, co-creation, business relationship, and knowledge exchange. Stakeholder engagement should be given prime importance in the entrepreneurial agenda of the institutions. Institutions should organize networking events, conferences, workshops. We have conducted in our institution 2 years with collaboration with 2 other institutions and Lufthansa. We have conducted Impact Week of 1 week entire workshop for students and faculties on design thinking, where they think on problems in the surrounding of in our surrounding, and they come with certain prototype or certain solution for that. We should organize such type of events for enhancing this collaboration and co-creation through formal and informal mechanisms such as internship, teaching, research exchange programs, clubs, social gatherings. And faculty and students of the institution should be given opportunities to connect with the external environment. The institution should develop policy and guidelines for forming and managing relationship with the external stakeholders, including private industries. Last but not least, it is very important, whatever this entire policy is suggesting, whatever guidelines and suggestions this policy is providing, at the end we should assess or judge assessment of these entire entrepreneurial activities. We should judge that whether we are heading toward that long-term goal in a right direction, or we need to change our strategies or working. Impact assessment of institutions environmental initiatives such as pre-incubation, incubation, or entrepreneurial education should be performed regularly using well-defined evaluation parameters. Monitoring and evaluation of knowledge exchange initiatives, engagement of all the departments and faculty in entrepreneurial teaching and learning should be assessed. Number of startup created, number of support system provided at the institutional level, the satisfaction of participants, new business relationship created by the institution should be recorded and used for this impact assessment. And impact should be measured for the support system provided by the institution to the students, entrepreneurs, faculty, startup, pre-incubation, incubation, IPR protection, industry linkage, exposure to entrepreneurial ecosystem, etc. Last but not least, the commercial success is the only measure in long-term run. You do whatever, you do number of workshops, you do number of conferences, you do number of exchange programs. At the end, if you are not able to create these venture, if you are not able to convert these ideas into successful business, marketable products, your success is not going to be judged. This last line is saying commercial success is the only long term. Okay, we can understand for initial through 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Okay, it is like mushroom cultivation, everything under the soil. But at certain period of at the end of certain period of time, these mushrooms should be bud out. They should be come out, and we should be able to market all these startups. These are few references I have used in all these 2 sessions. You can go through these for long-term understanding. And yes, this is my contact and my email and phone number. I hope I have done some sort of justification, and I thank to the organizer of this faculty development program to provide me this golden opportunity to interact with you all. Yes, again I want to say, बात कुछ और होती अगर हम आमने सामने होते, कुछ हम आपकी सुनते, कुछ अपनी सुनाते, कुछ समझते, कुछ समझाते. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you all. Be at home, be safe, be entrepreneurial. Whatever you can do, try to make your student problem solving individual. Thank you. Thank you very much.